Good day, everyone, and welcome to Ethics Vibes. My name is David Wasilewski, the Albert P. Vera Professor of Business Ethics at Duquesne University and Executive Director of the Vera Institute for Business Ethics, otherwise known as VIBE. Welcome to our third installment of our podcast series on the Destructive Side of Entrepreneurship, which basically looks at the intersection between ethics and entrepreneurship and looks at some of the unintended consequences that new ventures face with different stakeholder groups. I'm going to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Peter Gianotis, to introduce himself and to our guests here today.
Hey guys, thanks for coming back. This is our third installment, and hopefully we're getting better and better. I'm Peter Gianotis. I'm the Merle-Gilead Professor, holder of the Entrepreneurial Finance, and I work closely with our Entrepreneurship Center, and this is a byproduct of a collaboration between the Ethics Center and the Entrepreneurship Center at Duquesne School of Business. We have Julian and Serena Rizza here today, and they want to talk about their business, which has probably an excellent inspirational story. At least we heard about that before we came on air. So let me go ahead and take it away. Tell us about your business.
Sure.
Serena, you want to start?
Sure. I'm Serena Rizza. I am the co-founder here with my husband, Julian Rizza, and we're the co-founders of Hugh Honey, which is essentially eczema and sensory-friendly one-piece pajama rompers for kids and toddlers.
Yes, we actually have a couple, now that we have a camera, a couple visuals here, and this is the product, and a couple of variations. But yeah, so Serena and I are the co-founders of Hugh Honey. We're also full-time parents. We have full-time jobs, so life's busy. But we appreciate the chance to share our story a bit with you guys.
Yeah, how did your idea come about?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I can start. So our daughter suffers from pretty bad eczema, allergies, and asthma, and she has since she was born, like literally right out of the gate, just a rashy kid. And around 1.5 to 2 years old, she really hit her lowest point where she was just blistered from head to toe, unable to do things like ride a bike or scooter or walk up the steps comfortably.
Oh, that's awful.
And it was affecting her sleep and quality of life. And, you know, everyone makes the jokes like, you're up at 3 a.m. and whatnot. And we were literally just up searching Amazon left and right for products that would bring her some sort of comfort that would allow her to sleep in one piece without zippers or anything touching her body, or that she could take off. So we struggled to find something that would work for her. So we sought out to make one to bring her comfort, and in turn ended up helping a lot of other kids that we just weren't expecting at the time.
Yeah.
So in part of the ideation, in terms of your process, it was really trying to find a solution. When did it come from solution, trying to find something for it, to, hey, let's start a business?
Yeah, it started very personal. So
Right.
I think that it kind of found us, in a sense. Like, we weren't out there looking for a business to start. That's probably the last thing we needed, honestly. But we were struggling, and it was not only like a skin concern. It was like, now her brain's not developing, she's not sleeping. There was all these, thoughts as new parents, and it was during COVID. It was a very unique time. So yeah, we kind of just said, like, hey, let's see what we could develop. We're not product designers, but why not? What do we have to lose to get a prototype made? And it worked really well for her. And we were already a part of these communities through her eczema and her allergies. And other parents were asking, hey, what are your kids sleeping at night? My kid's not sleeping. And we're like, hey, we might be onto something here. Like, this might be more than just, helping our kid. Like, we could help others. And it just, over the last 1.5 years, kind of slowly started to build up and become a business, honestly. So it's been a journey.
What a wonderful story, other than your suffering. I'm very sorry. But what a wonderful way to turn this into something that benefits all kinds of people in society. In terms of the development of your product and all, have you faced any challenges that you didn't anticipate? So that's sort of the theme of this series, the destructive side. It's just sort of
there's
externality.
Product challenges and decisions that were hard, and then like business as well, and then personal, because this was like now a business that's very much personal to us. It was like our everyday lives as parents. Like, we were dealing with this, but now it's like, all right, now we have something, and we now have like another layer on top of this, which was the business. The product itself, I think, looking back, we did some things wrong for sure. We did a lot of things right. Getting some IP protection through patenting, through trademarks and all that, because we're making, at the end of the day, it's an apparel, and there's anyone that could go out there and make that same thing. So I think a lot of that was good that we did it up front. And then the second really important thing that we focused on was, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. We're going to do it sustainable. We're going to find the best supplier we can. We're not going to go with the cheap route. And I feel like through that journey, through all the due diligence we did there, like looking back, I'm like, thank God we did all that, because when we ship a product, one of these, to a customer, like, I feel good that everything we're saying about it is true. It's sustainable. It's been lab tested. It has, sustainable fabrics. It's ethically made. We vetted the manufacturer. And thanks to Duquesne, I knew how to do all that because I went to supply chain school. So, there was a lot of due diligence and I think challenges at first, and still are, like, every day when it comes to the product itself or the business. We were putting personal money into it, so we were kind of, invested personally, but also financially into it to make it work.
Yeah, I fear we're talking that you have the sustainability mindset. Was that part of your initial drive, or did that sort of just come about after?
I think we've always kind of been, listen, our generation and younger generations, it's just more and more of a focus. Sustainable shopping, if I know, like, generations younger than us, like, if they go to a product or website and there's nothing around ESG or goals or sustainability, like, they're bouncing to another website. They're probably going to a different product because that's a huge focus. And I kind of knew that from being at Duquesne and being in supply chain and learning the things I did, and then going out and working in supply chain. Sustainability was always a focus, and I think something important to us. And that's why a lot of the things we did from a supply chain perspective, or through Amazon, who has a very core value of ESG, sustainability, ethics, social impact. And they do all our pick, pack, and shipping for us. So they've been a really good partner so far in the year and a half we've done this.
Just,
Go ahead, David.
No worries. No, I'm going to turn it over to Peter here.
Yeah, you're good. No worries.
No, but for my own, I have a 4.5-year-old Vincent at home.
Yeah.
What sizes do you sell, just for our listeners? And
Yep, we sell.
Not your size.
Not
We're
size,
getting
okay.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think our smallest is 0 to 3 or 3 to 6.
6 to 12 is our smallest, and then it goes up from there, 12 to 18, then 2T, 3T, 4T.
Yep.
4T, like, our 5-year-old could still fit in it because it's very stretchy. It's spandex and bamboo is the material. So it has that stretchy, weighted, cooling feel. So they can wear it a lot longer and it lasts a lot longer.
And the reason for that too is because I think a lot of times if you're a family that suffers with a kid with a chronic condition or a health need, typically it's developing within those first couple of months, and you're looking for options later on,
Sure.
right? Like around 6 months. Our daughter didn't have her first allergy or anaphylactic reaction until 4 or 5 months old. So, like I said, it started to develop, and then by the time they're 4 or 5 in 4 or 5T, they're usually
Outgrowing.
somewhat outgrowing or in an exposure therapy, or don't want to wear a romper because they're potty training.
Right.
So this is really the
There's a
the
sweet
niche market
spot
for it.
there.
I gotcha. Interesting. That was going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Is like, how do you, I guess, most of your customers in essence, graduate out at some point, correct?
Yes.
Correct, but I think that there's also this specific target market, right? Because our daughter's still 5T and still has chronic eczema, and we had a family reach out that said, hey, can you make bigger sizes, or can you put darker color, all these different requests.
We've
So I
done
think
a
there's
couple of those.
Yeah, there's certainly a market for it, and we're still figuring out that for our next iterations of the product, but right now it's still serving its purpose for this unique market.
So I'm going to get a little bit off script. I'm going to ask a follow-up question to that. So how much of the business is, like, let's say, batches versus what you just described in terms of custom builds?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by?
Do you mean like how many order like multiples versus like?
Well, meaning like as you kind of
Special
structure your kind of your supply chain in your
Right.
inventory, and then in terms of what you put on the site or through
Mhm.
Amazon, how much of it is kind of like a batch of like what you showed versus say an option to customize the product in some form or fashion?
The option to customize the product is few and far between. We've
Okay.
done that maybe a couple of times. We had a lot of repeat customers who either their kid's grown out of it or they have an older kid that also has, because most of the time allergies, eczema, that stuff could be genetic. So if you have multiple kids, there's a good chance that more than one kid might have that. And we've done a couple custom orders or custom colors or just a custom design for some of those repeat customers. We don't do it often though.
Yeah.
Mainly it's we have this set of sizes. We have now 4 different colors. We started with 2 and we have another 2 coming out, which is the purple, and then we have a custom design we actually created, which is pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
And it's kind of a play on words of like our daughter and her strength and sweetness. It's a honey bear, and we can kind of, when we have that, kind of show you guys what that looks like. But we don't do a lot of custom designs.
Interesting. So we're going to kind of step back and get back kind of on our script. So walk us through, David talked about kind of some of the the challenges around sustainability, et cetera. Walk us through like a really difficult decision that you faced, where you were in essence trying to overcome some conflict between different stakeholders, whether you're customers or suppliers, et cetera.
I think the biggest one that has always been there and still is there is like the domestic versus overseas manufacturing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I think it's apparent that it's appealing to manufacture something, in a different region. It's, definitely a lot cheaper. Labor's a lot cheaper. But there's some disadvantages too. Like you don't have as much control over it. There's more emissions. Like if I'm ordering something from our manufacturer who's over in Asia, to get it to, Amazon's warehouse in the US is going to emit a lot more, carbon emissions and all sorts of nasty stuff into the air versus if I manufactured in Columbus, Ohio. So, and there was a manufacturer in Columbus who we were talking to about, manufacturing this, but it's 3 times the cost.
Right.
So there's that trade-off, and, we always kind of come back to like, if we have a sustainable manufacturer and if we are confident in that, the supplier we're working with overseas, that they are doing as much as they can to be aligned to what our values are as a company, then I'm okay with keeping it there. But ultimately, I feel like we do go back and forth on like, what is the right kind of mix here? Should we have more than one supplier? Because even if one supplier is a bit risky, what happens if they go belly up and they can't make it anymore? We're like, we're kind of much dead in the water. So there's like a lot of that, and sustainability is definitely a factor into it when it comes to like the carbon emissions and sustainability of like transportation, scope 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
So sort of building on that, was there a time where you just didn't see something coming? Was there sort of a unintended consequence to your mission and values are all ethically driven, sustainability driven, you have the best intentions. Was there an unintended consequence that you just didn't see coming?
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you think?
Go ahead.
I think we're going to think of the same one, but I think it's more related to the product, and it was around how to actually use the product and put it on and take it off correctly. And we were getting a lot of not frustrated customers, but confused customers on what the actual right way to use it was. And you can kind of build off of that because I know you were involved.
Yeah, I think because it's always, people want to, especially friends and family, they're so nice and generous, want to support the product too, but it's such a fit for a kid that wants to take their clothes on and off, right, because they're itchy. So it's not necessarily a market fit for your friend that just had a baby or your friend that has a toddler, not everyone with a kid. And I think it became hard because some people reached out with feedback, it's hard to take on and off, but that also serves the purpose if your kid is bleeding through their pajamas or we have another kiddo that loved to take off her pajamas at night, and which would be difficult. So it serves a purpose, but we had to push out a lot of content to educate people and put QR codes in the instructions on how to take it on and off based on that feedback, which it definitely was difficult at first.
Yeah, and it's still like those people, the people with kids that don't have eczema, they're not so much our target market, though.
Right.
But we initially didn't really think that deeply into it. But now that we are, like when we're doing things in events or marketing or any content, it's more driven towards the people that have that specific need.
So that's an interesting follow-up question I'd like to ask. So you've already talked that there's kind of either a loose or a formal organization around kind of this need. So I'm curious how you approach the business relative to either that group of folks or those organizations in general.
Right.
And how do you manage that?
Yeah, I'm happy to touch on this one, but I think it's really important for us that we stay true to our core of why we did the product. And so I am naturally in a partnerships background, and so that's something that I'm always focusing on is who can we partner with. And for us, it was really important to partner with organizations that support the same causes. So National Eczema Association is one of them, and we're trying to get into different food allergy places and things like that, because that's really where, and also different like behavioral therapists or occupational therapists. Those are more of our market fit and partnerships, not so much just send it out on Instagram and hope for the best, because it's not necessarily that we just want somebody with a lot of followers to promote this product. We want it to get in the right hands of the right people that need it.
Yeah, it's interesting to think of it that way, in the sense that on some level you want to reach a broad audience, but you want to have control about who that customer is, because you really want to reach the right customer. Yeah, it's interesting, because at least in my experience, maybe Dave has another, has seen something else. It's usually the other way around. You know what I mean? And that you try to reach as many possible people as. And then,
that was our initial approach.
And then you whittle it down over time. And you say, okay, that's not for that. That's not for that.
And we did run into that at first, as some of those decisions where we partnered with local different boutiques and things like that that wanted us to increase our prices to make a profit, which makes sense, but we do sell on Amazon, so we have to be mindful of that. Right. Yeah. And our biggest thing was that we were the parents that were up needing that romper the next day or within 2-day delivery, and we didn't want to take it off Amazon or
we didn't want to charge someone $50
right.
for it.
It has to have this fair balance, and that was more important to us than
but there were things we tried that we thought this is going to work great. It just didn't, and that was always, it was kind of trial and error at first. We never knew going in like what exactly the right moves were. You just got to get in there and figure it out.
So again, as a professor of entrepreneurship, this always comes up. So there was no like formal business plan or anything like that necessarily.
We just did this in our free time, really, at night.
At night, when the kids would go to sleep, like we said, like screw the business plan. It's a waste of time. Like let's start. We have a need. We are our customer. Essentially at the end of the day, it's our business, but it's also like we're a customer of the business. Like we were the first customer.
I think it actually started too. We wanted to get into selling a product on Amazon, and the one recommendation to us was don't sell within apparel.
And we did.
But we learned so much along the way, and we felt like it was worth it, because it was passionate. I mean, it was truly passionate for us.
That was another unexpected challenge, was starting with this product and trying to get on Amazon in apparel. It's a restricted, gated category because safety concerns, flammability. We had to get everything tested. We had no idea. Flammability tested. All the chemicals, lead tested, all the dyes tested. We're like, what are we doing? Like, we're just shoving out money to for this product that hopes someone wants it.
Well, I guess my final question. Peter,
I've got one more, so I'll let you ask the second final question.
It builds off this one. So you say you didn't start with a business plan. I think that's fascinating. It's going to be inspirational for all our listeners too. What is your plan now? Like, how much do you want to grow, and where do you see this going in 5 years?
I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I don't know if we've really asked each other this. So.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
No time like the present. This is She's like, sell it all.
We kept talking about a plan for that, but I think our goal is really just grow it to a point where we can have an aggregator buy us on Amazon eventually, because that's typically the path that you go on with Amazon FBA. Obviously, we're very close to the brand, and it's very personal to us, so that does matter. But right now, I mean, we still have young kids. We're still in this community. We want to make a difference with kids with eczema and allergies, sensory needs, all of that could really benefit from the product. So I think it'll still be a little while before we.
Yeah, and I think we're at the point where if one of us did this full time, like, we don't really know what it could be. It could be something very big. It could not be, but we both work, like I said, full time. We have kids. We have nice benefits at these jobs.
Right.
So it's like, that's like the entrepreneurial decision is like, does one of us leave that comfy job and do this full time to see what it could, what it could be? Or do we keep chipping away with the hours that we have that aren't focused on the job or the kids or our family or each other? But we're getting to a point where like we probably do need at least help in some areas when it comes to like marketing or social media, because we just don't have time to
crank out content,
take a video on whatever it is, or just post stuff all day. So those are like, I think in the next couple months, things we have to sit down and figure out.
So actually, maybe David and I are on the same page, like the two of you are, because that was kind of that was going to be my last question. I'll reframe it a little bit, but
Okay.
in between, I'll make a quick plug. Reach out to Duquesne. I teach,
Yes.
at least in the fall, I teach a course, and it's client-based.
I'd love
And
to.
so we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah, I love that.
So I'm going to ask David's questions a little bit different because, since I teach entrepreneurship, one of the things I harp on my students is starting is the exit. In other words, that when you start a business, one of the things that should be on top of the mind
How
is
do we get it?
when
Yes.
it's not just how, but when. Like, what is the time? So I'll ask the question a little bit different than David. What do you mentioned a little bit about kind of where you were on Amazon, but what's a metric or what's a milestone that you think you'd want to hit or have to hit before you say, hey, maybe this is it?
That's a great question. The exit thing was something I was told when we first started this, that every week, and I still have this calendar invite that we've missed for 100 and some weeks in a row, but it's to work on our exit, and it's like to start with, you need to understand it right out, like what a successful and exit would be for us and what we'd be happy and comfortable and satisfied with.
Right.
I think we have an idea in our heads, but we need to put pen to paper at some point and write that out. And thinking through it, I don't know if there's a specific metric. I think it's more like, am I happy with where whoever's coming in to either buy this or take it over, where they are envisioning to take it. And if that's to help more people and help the community and help society and be, continue all the things that we think are important, like the core values of sustainability, I'd be happy with that. Like, I don't care if I sell another one of these. Like, we've changed a lot of people's lives already, which we never even thought we were going to do when we started this thing.
Beautiful.
So before I'll let David wrap up, but and I'll talk to you offline. But I have an article that I use in my class that speaks to some of the things that you're struggling with. That'll be a follow-up.
That would
for
be
me.
great.
I'll send it to you.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead, David. You can wrap up.
One last thing for Serena and Julian. Can you tell our listeners, I know you're on Amazon, your website.
Yeah,
Just
might
state your
as well do
website, so promote.
Yeah, you can search Hugh and Honey Snugflex Rompers on Amazon and be sure to find us, or go to our website, hughandhoney.com, or on socials, Hugh and Honey Co. So Instagram, Facebook.
TikTok shop, we got on there as well.
Shop, yep.
There you go.
Yeah, check us out.
Excellent.
Very
So
good.
a lot of places to find them. I just want to wrap up this session. I want to thank our guests, Julian and Serena Rizza, for their insights into their new venture, Hugh and Honey. It's very fascinating, and it was very enlightening to see how you've developed this, and the passion of your enterprise really does come out too.
Yeah,
I think it's
thank
probably
you.
related to your personal relation to the whole product.
Sure.
So thank you all for listening to Ethics Vibes, the Destructive Side of Entrepreneurship. This is our third installment. Look for us this summer doing another series of Ethics Vibes on ethics and nonprofits. I'm David Wasilewski. I want to thank Peter Giannides, my friend and colleague here at Duquesne University, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.